Greetings, friends. In this video, we will explore the 10 poorest states in the United States. Between different states, there is a significant discrepancy in economic growth and prosperity. Due to a variety of reasons, including their geographic position, access to resources, and economic policies, certain states tend to be significantly poorer than others. The variations in economic policies adopted by different states are one of the most important causes of the inequality between prosperous and poorer states. Some states have regulations that are favorable to business, which draws big firms, even while some might increase taxes and stricter restrictions that impede economic growth. This frequently results in a concentration of wealth in some states. A flat average brings many of the households in these poorest U.S. states handle an annual income of about $50,000, which in current times covers a limited amount of expenses. But median household income is a useful measure for understanding geographical wealth because it avoids any inflated outliers. An example of a yearly budget for a family of 5 could be $19,000 for housing 10 people. $1,000 for food, $2,500 for a car, and $10,000 in taxes still only leave, optimistically speaking, $8,500 per year for medical costs, furniture, and all other things. The United Places has a national GDP of about $23 trillion, and despite the existence of social programs, it is sometimes argued that any one calamity, such as an illness or layoff, might result in homelessness in some places where the dangers are higher. There is no doubt that America has the ability to establish a more equitable society. Before we begin this video about the 10 poorest states in the United States, kindly click the subscribe button and the bell icon. Let's now delve further into each of the top 10 poorest states in the United States. Number 10, Tennessee. Tennessee lacks a broad-based income tax, yet has one of the highest combined state and municipal sales tax rates in the nation. As a result, low-income households frequently pay a higher proportion of their income in taxes, which helps to maintain economic inequities. The results of that reality are shocking. 13.3% of the people in the state experience food insecurity. 20% of children are living in poverty, and the minimum wage is as low as permitted by federal law. The general lack of access to education, healthcare, and career opportunities is exacerbated by rural living. But despite having access to employment, many of those industries provide very poor wages. In addition, despite the fact that Tennessee taxpayers give the military billions of dollars each year, 28 of the state's 135,000 veterans live on less than $35,000 per year. Number 9, South Carolina. The median household income in South Carolina, a southeastern U.S. state known for its leisurely pace of life and coastal beauty, $59,318 in earnings. Unfortunately, this metric has led to lower life expectancy and higher crime rates, which together with the issue of voting rights and the fact that South Carolina's social services, such as healthcare, lag behind other states, have affected migration rates and led to a labor shortage. This shrinking workforce mostly depends on industries like manufacturing, agriculture, and tourism, which can be in solidarity with some of the other states on this list, which are also prone to economic volatility due to the majority of residents residing in rural areas. Persuading workers to commute across large distances has proven challenging in the past. South Carolina is all too familiar with obstacles like high rates of poverty, limited educational opportunities, and inadequate infrastructure. Number 8, Oklahoma. Oklahoma has experienced economic difficulties, as evidenced by its median household income of $55,826, which is lower than the U.S. average of $6,900,071,717. This economic struggle is exacerbated by a number of issues, including outdated and inadequate infrastructure, a reliance on the production of fossil fuels, and poor educational outcomes. Many of the states on this list, including Oklahoma, suffer from inadequate education, since employers and businesses trying to start strong do not seek out poorly skilled, untrained, and even illiterate personnel. Infrastructure is a further requirement for future firms, and in 2021, the American Society of Civil Engineers gave Oklahoma's total infrastructure a grade of C-, suggesting that upgrades are required to maintain a vibrant economy. Obviously, this severely limits any state's potential to foster job possibilities. Number 7, Kentucky. Kentucky has long supported manufacturing and coal mining, both of which have been adversely affected by changing market conditions and economic changes. Using renewable energy, a global upheaval in the price of coal is currently being brought on by environmental restrictions and competition from natural gas. And as a result, many towns that historically relied on coal mining for jobs and income have experienced economic hardship. In addition, the agricultural sector, which is dominated by small family farms, has experienced difficulties due to climate change, which have affected crop prices and increased competition from larger, more efficient farms. As a result, many rural households have seen their income and employment opportunities decline. The median household income in Kentucky is severely impacted by both schooling and the state's general poverty rate, which stayed the same at $5,573. Number 6. New Mexico. Located in the southwest is New Mexico. Dependent on government and having a substantial amount of employment focused in the public and private sectors, services and MSU data show that the general public sector represented around 24%, the government employment further erratic educational. A great number of opportunities have led to percentage of adults who don't have a high academic degree. A sign of that reality can be seen in the shockingly low literacy percentage in New Mexico, 79%, as a result of these circumstances. Rising numbers of homeless people taking place in the state besides problems of famine. Number 5. Alabama. Alabama's agricultural roots can be traced to its history of poverty and injustice. Previously, the state was strongly dependent on African Americans, and Alabama are disproportionately affected by poverty today. The state's median household income is $53,913. Large populations of African Americans were forced into slavery for the purpose of cotton production to work on plantations. The state has historically relied on industries like agriculture, manufacturing, and natural resources for employment opportunities. But these sectors have seen significant declines in recent years, leaving many residents without stable employment. The real problem is that the economy suffers from a lack of diversification. Number 4. Arkansas. Arkansas's financial difficulties, which have left many households with only about $52.528 in annual income, are caused by a number of factors. Arkansas is primarily a rural state, with the main industries being forestry, agriculture, and firearms, which frequently pay low wages. Poor educational performance in the state is directly tied to lower-paying occupations, which keeps households in a cycle of financial difficulty. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave Arkansas a D+ grade in its infrastructure report card due to problems with transportation, energy, and water infrastructure. These problems all contribute to poverty rates, which reduce tax revenue and consumer spending, while also placing more of a burden on social services. Number 3. Louisiana. Former Bayou State, Louisiana has suffered with low median household incomes for a long time. Similar to West Virginia, Louisiana's economy is dependent on sectors like oil, gas, and petrochemicals, which are prone to swings in the global market. This dependency has resulted in periodic job losses and wage stagnation in these areas, which has a negative impact on household earnings. The state also experiences significant levels of poverty, which are made worse by one of the worst rates of income disparity in the country. These gaps frequently lead to limited access to high-quality health care and education, which feeds the cycle of poverty. Additionally, Louisiana has generally had lower educational attainment rates than the nation as a whole, which has caused a workforce that is less competitive. Due to the state's location along the Gulf of Mexico, regular natural disasters frequently cause extensive infrastructure damage and the displacement of population, which has an impact on household incomes. Number 2. West Virginia. A state located in the Appalachian area called West Virginia has a typical household income of $51,248. The collapse of the coal industry, which was once the foundation of West Virginia's economy, has had a significant impact on household incomes, which has led to the loss of many employment for people, while also reducing the tax base and limiting public investment in vital services and infrastructure. Another obstacle is geographic barriers, because West Virginia's mountainous terrain makes it challenging to build infrastructure like highways and broadband networks. The state has also been slow to adopt emerging industries like renewable energy technology and advanced manufacturing, making the state more susceptible to changes in global market demand. Those are essential for luring new companies and promoting economic growth. Number 1. Mississippi. Mississippi has long faced economic difficulties and is situated in the southeastern part of the United States. With a median household income of $4,871, the state has one of the lowest income levels in the nation. A number of interconnected variables, such as low educational attainment, a high poverty rate, and a lack of economic diversification, contribute to the state's economic problems. Underfunded public schools, especially those in rural and low-income areas, are to blame for this educational gap, since they struggle to give children access to enough resources and opportunities. Additionally, Mississippi's poverty rate is much greater than the national average. Finally, the state's economy has historically been dependent on industries like agriculture, forestry, and low-wage manufacturing. This lack of economic diversification makes the state's economy vulnerable to market fluctuations and restricts opportunities for high-wage employment. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching.